the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews. Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! Did he get it?
Welcome on in, Full Court Press. Sorry for a little tardy on this. We had an unexpected schedule change with Coach Matt Entz, who we had him on the schedule to come by in about 20 minutes, but he was available, so we made ourselves available. Craig Hislop, Eric Frandsen are hanging out. Now we're on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan, and streaming on 1069thefan.com and the 1069 The Fan mobile app. We actually had two interviews that just kind of got moved up and wedged in on us earlier, which was fine because now we're done. We're done with the interviews. We had Timmy Chang and Matt Entz that just worked out in their schedules to swing by. They were close, and so we made it happen and had the opportunity to visit with them. So our interviews for the day have concluded. Craig, this has been a pretty interesting day, talking to these different coaches, getting their perspectives on their upcoming seasons. We've heard some interesting things. I've taken a lot of notes today, more than I did yesterday. But this is we're getting ready for the 2025 football season, and I'm getting excited now that it's getting close.
I didn't know much about Matt Entz other than he had been up at North Dakota State after Craig Bowl, as I understand it, who came into our league and coached at Wyoming, did a great job. At least he was an assistant there. But last year he had a job as a coach on the USC staff, and he deserved that. And it kind of helped him get this job now. And he explained how that all goes and then tried to tell us about the team he's putting together now. And there's a lot of things still to be decided, it sounds like, at his place. He's a new coach, but he's taken over for Coach Tedford, who I've always said is one of the best coaches that this conference has ever had. It's just that his health, even at his age, has gone a little bad, and he can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's too bad about Coach Tedford because he was so good at what he did, and various different stops along the way wherever he had been. He was a winner. But Coach Entz, they were pretty good last year. Their record last season, Fresno State, they were 6-7. They did get to a bowl game, trying to improve upon that and improve upon their defense. Some question at offense, like who's going to be their quarterback. He was saying that is definitely a quarterback battle that won't be decided until mid-August, as they're trying to figure out who their QB will be.
I'd heard that it was probably going to be Kurt Warner's son, who had been at Rice, and then he went to Temple. And I guess they felt happy and fortunate to get him. He's in a battle now with two other guys, so it right now hasn't been determined. They'll probably know about the middle of August as they get ready for the season, if it's him or two other people, whose names I'm sure you wrote down in your notes.
No, I didn't get a chance to write down any notes from Coach Entz because he got done and literally we had to switch to full court press mode. But I have been taking notes on many of our other interviews, and we'll get to some of that and do some recaps here a little bit later. Because Craig is going to try to get all the way home tonight driving, so I don't want to hold you up too much longer. But just some of your other observations from the day, Craig, some of the coaches that we interviewed. It's been kind of fun talking to these coaches because those connections go a little bit deeper than just the players, whether that's, doing post-game interviews, pre-game interviews, riding elevators with them, as you've talked about a little bit. And some, they had some previous stops in Logan, like Coach Choate.
Right. Was a GA at Utah State and has gone through a lot of schools. I forgot when I introduced him to mention that he was a coordinator at the University of Texas for 3 years, kind of a major part of his coaching career. But it's been about 20 years. That's usually what it takes for these guys to go through all the different opportunities they have until somebody considers him for a head coach. He had a great run at his school. I think he went to Montana State and then left there and and started to make a name for himself. And then we just talked to Timmy Chang, who is a favorite of mine because I remember when he was running, pushing the run and shoot. Is that what we called it at the University of Hawaii back in the day? He's in his 4th year now as the head coach, and all they can talk about is this little left-handed quarterback, Micah Alejado, who comes from, Bishop Gorman, a school in Las Vegas right here, one of the best high school football programs in the country. They have several guys on their staff, and also I'm sure they got players. His quarterback coach has come with him from there, and he played 4 games at the end of last year. They were able to redshirt him, so he's still a freshman. But the 4th game, they really did a number on New Mexico, and he threw for over 400 yards, and he doesn't throw interceptions. That was his goal his senior year at Bishop Gorman. Apparently had it on the wall there, and he never did. He never threw he threw a lot of passes, but none of them were intercepted, and none of them were intercepted in that game against New Mexico. So they won big.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting to hear Coach Timmy Chang talk about recruiting him, going to his home. He had a vision board, things he wanted to accomplish, be the best high school in the country, don't throw an interception, 70% passing percentage rate. And at the end of the season, you could check off that list. Like, he accomplished those things. So Coach Timmy Chang is very impressed with Alejado's focus, his commitment to what he wants to do. He may be undersized, but he definitely has a vision for what he wants to accomplish, and has been so far accomplishing that. Accomplishing that at a high school is one thing. Doing it at the collegiate level may be another. But he proved last year in a few games that he can compete at this level. He gets rid of the ball quickly. He doesn't hang on to it. He knows he's undersized, and he can't afford to hang on to it too long before some big edge rusher is breathing down his neck and breaks him in half.
Well, they say he's either 5'7" or 5'8", maybe 5'9", and you worry about a kid that small. If he's got the great escapability and gets out of there, then runs and gets rid of it, that's going to be fine. It sounds like he's got a lot of. He kept talking about his knowledge of the game and his awareness and so forth. So the other thing they're kind of working against, we used to go to games out there at the Aloha Stadium, and Coach Chang just started talking about that superstructure is there. They want to take that all down. The stadium they play in now is not really what you would call a major college stadium. So that's one of the things they have to recruit to and so forth. And I guess they're trying to some way to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that has really surprised me that it's taken this long for that community to figure out what to do in that space, because they effectively condemned it. But as soon as they did that and realized they needed to move and do something somewhere else, now all these other interested parties want to get involved, and it needs to be an entertainment venue, it needs to be a football stadium, it needs to be a concert venue, it needs to be a park. I mean, it's a big space. And so there's been a lot of debate about what to do with it and how to, maximize that space. And it's been years. This little stadium that they play in Manoa, it was supposed to be just a temporary situation with a few grandstands that they were going to put up on the sidelines, and it has become their permanent home. But they're making it work. Now, Utah State will make the trip to Hawaii in October, and it's always an interesting trip schedule-wise. It messes up your schedule because you have to leave earlier. It messes up your following week because of how much time it takes to come home. But this is not new for Utah State. This is not new for Bronco Mendenhall. But those are not excuses. Those are facts. Those are a reality of having having Hawaii in your conference and in the middle of your schedule.
It's still a little bit of an advantage for them, I would say, unless their schedule is another challenge with the next game. If you have a Friday game and things like that, you just have to deal with it. In advance that's what you're up against. But that's part of college football.
Yes, it is. One of the other, there's a lot of different things that we took and learned from coaches this week, earlier today. But one of the things that is consistent with what we've been asking of these different coaches is, their observations or experiences with Bronco Mendenhall. And who was it? Ken Nui-Matalolo?
Yeah.
You said you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Bronco Mendenhall is going to get things turned around quickly at Utah State.
Yeah, and we talked about some of his friends up there at Utah State that he's familiar with. They all grew up in Hawaii, is what happened. And then we had Boise State's Spencer Danielson talking about Bronco Mendenhall and some kind of relationship there. Probably Spencer's watched the Broncos' career all the way along. A lot of people have.
Well, those two are kindred spirits. I mean, a lot about who they are off the field, about what drives them, about how they approach working with young men. Those two are cut from the same cloth, it appears.
One of Bronco's big things, and those of you who were at the when he was introduced in December as the new head coach, and he talked a lot about his philosophy, and he said, people, and I'm talking about these football coaches, appreciate when you give them higher standards. They're harder to meet, but it makes them better. And by the end of the season, you probably, among other things, you probably have the best conditioned football team going. That's what the couple of New Mexico kids said to us yesterday, because he coached them last year into that kind of a situation. So it's just they have more expectations, higher expectations. Some guys can't meet them. They have to leave, and they do. And pretty soon, after a year or two, you've got a solid enough football program that you're going to win some games.
With Coach Mendenhall, you asked him about bowl eligibility. Could this team qualify for the postseason? And he didn't even let you finish your question. Like, he was jumping in like, absolutely.
I was relating this Aggie team this year to New Mexico's team a year ago that started out by getting beat by, Montana State, was it, in their own stadium in Albuquerque, and then they went from there. And by mid-season or so, he's beating the Aggies on Merlin Olsen Field and getting pretty emotional about it. We asked him about that, too, at the thing in December. But, yeah, it's a situation there where at the end of his year, last year, he had that team playing the final game. If they won it, they were going to be a bowl team, which is kind of hard to believe. And I said, can you relate that to this Aggie football team as well? And as you said, he interrupted my question by saying, oh, yeah, this is a team that has that potential.
In fact, I think if they win that game, if they beat Hawaii, he's not the head coach at Utah State. I think he would have stayed at New Mexico, likely.
It's interesting.
They would have gone bowling. Who knows if they win a bowl game? Looks like there's momentum, there's excitement, there's change, and maybe he sticks around. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he comes here anyway because of the opening and being closer to home, and it's just a familiar community and familiar values. But it was a fun conversation. It was only supposed to be, we only get like 5 minutes with these coaches. Sometimes we fudge it and maybe get 8 with some. But with Bronco, hat tip to Doug Hoffman for looking at the schedule. He was able to get in here and spend time with us. We actually got 20 minutes with Coach Mendenhall today, and that was great. It was a fun interview, and I think we covered a lot of ground with him. He was engaged. Sometimes there's some knocks against Bronco that maybe sometimes he's a little disengaged during interviews, but not with us today. He was really into it with the questions that we asked him, and he appreciated the context, and it was a fun interview. I thought it was very informative. And also, he talked about what he'd like to see in the new AD, the new athletic director for Utah State, whoever the interim or the full-time, and with the university president as well, and how important that is to have that alignment with football coach, AD, and president. And pretty excited about what the potential could hold if it gets done right.
You can learn a lot from a football coach like him because they like to talk about the process that they go through. Rocky Long, who he coached for at New Mexico, and I think is now retired. Rocky was a great New Mexico quarterback. He would answer every question after the game, no messing around. He just told you what the truth was, and then you learn about what football is really about, and that's what Broncos is all about to me. It's not easy. And we're going to push you hard, and you're going to get better as a person and as a student and as a football player. And the two guys that sat down with us yesterday from New Mexico, who were coached by him last year, you could tell. I mean, he said, was it Gabe, the defensive lineman?
Yes.
I can't remember his last name, Lopez or something. But
Gabe Lopez, yes.
He said, Coach gave me names of 5 or 6 books, and I've read every one of them about, improvement.
Leadership,
yeah.
And improvement, yeah.
Another thing that happened during today was Dan Mullen, who's now the head coach at UNLV. He came out to Utah, Utah, 2003, 2004, to join
Follows Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer's team. 1 year after that, I think Gary Anderson came up from Southern Utah to join that staff. And this is a team that in 2 years became nationally ranked, big time. And then Coach Urban Meyer goes on, and Dan Mullen went with him and eventually became the head coach at Mississippi State, and then eventually became the head coach at Florida, and after a while lost his job. So then he's been on TV for a few years, and now he's got the UNLV job, and he said, I asked him something to the effect, why was this the time to get back into coaching? And he said, well, I've been looking for a couple of years, and we had some certain things we wanted to match up, and also you got to feel it in your gut, and I just knew this one was the one for me.
And then he proceeded to go for like 5 minutes to take the rest of our time, like giving us the recruiting pitch on UNLV, on all the different things that the city has to offer and the facilities for football. And so it was fun. We only got a few questions in with Dan Mullen because he was excited and had a lot to say. You can tell this is a guy who's been a TV personality for good reason. But he has now. One of the questions I had, not a concern, but one of the questions I had with Coach Mullen was somebody who was in coaching for a while, was out of the game, became an analyst, and getting back into it. Would he have that fire and the discipline and everything that's required to be a coach again? And talking to his players and then talking to him today, this guy is fired up to get back on the sidelines and coach again, and I don't think he's skipped a beat. And like some people have talked about Bronco Mendenhall, sometimes you need to step away to appreciate what you had and approach things through clear lenses, a different perspective, and you can attack it a different way and with a little bit more attention and vigor. And that's what people are saying about Bronco, and that's what we're starting to observe with Dan Mullen as well.
Well, yeah, and I'd heard the rumor about what is called the New Hampshire Mafia. Dan Mullen, Chip Kelly, Gary Croton, who used to be at BYU, and Ryan Day, who's now the head coach at Ohio State's a national champion. These guys all started up in that area and each helped each other get jobs around the country. And he talked for a long time about that because they were all high school stars and quarterbacks and things playing against each other. And I guess Urban Meyer somewhere along the line kind of tapped into that because he brought Mullen with him out here. I guess Urban was coaching at Bowling Green as the head coach, and he had Mullen as an assistant coach, and so he brought him out as the quarterback coach. And they're telling me he is going to coach the quarterbacks at least part of the time, even as the head coach.
Dan Mullen will
at UNLV.
Yeah, so it's been fun. I think we've got a lot of interesting insights from some of the coaches. I'll go through more of those, checking some of the notes that I was able to take today, more observations. But Mountain West Media Days wrapping up here this afternoon in Las Vegas. And start of fall camp is just right around the corner. I think July 30th is what I saw in the notes for Utah State when that gets started. So, yeah, right around the corner. But let's do this. Let's take a timeout. We're going to say goodbye to Craig. Craig's going to start making his way north. Appreciate all your time and being down here with me, helping me with this, with our ups and downs with technology. Yesterday, I think we've been in a much better situation today. But
it's going to be harder than normal because I'm going to have to. I don't have a car like this. I'm just kidding.
Get that thumb workout. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. And I'm sure you'll have many more things to say over the next few weeks on KVNU's Morning News, using some of the information.
Sure.
Some of the audio that we've gathered while we've been here.
Got a lot of stuff to share with people.
Yes. No, that'll be great. And Craig has been a long time connection to Utah State athletics, and appreciate his knowledge and wisdom. It's been a lot of fun sharing a desk, a table with you down here in Las Vegas. I'm kind of trapped based on all the stuff that we have here, and I'm really reliant on when Craig leaves when I can leave.
Oh, okay. So I'll get out of here.
So it's time for you to leave.
Okay.
No. Thanks for tuning in and being part of the Full Court Press. We'll take a timeout here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes here on the Full Court Press.
When grid failures and severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home, you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gscgenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Bright green cars, that's the only thing you need to remember as you're driving down Main Street in Logan looking for Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Hi, this is Jarek. We have a lot of people comment on the bright green cars outside, and some even talk about the building, but the overwhelming responses come when they step inside. Jarek's showroom was created to offer an intimate, romantic setting for couples to enjoy their ring buying experience. Everyone is treated like a friend with no price negotiation needed. Make your engagement special. Make it Jarek's. Come see us at 930 North Main in Logan. Just look for the bright green cars.
While you're making memories this summer, on the lake, in the mountains, or around the fire pit, Adams Wealth Advisors is here to help you plan for days to come. Adams Wealth Advisors loves being your trusted neighbor and believes that smart financial planning is the key to a life well lived. Whether you're nearing retirement or just getting started, let Adams Wealth Advisors build a plan that gives you peace of mind today and tomorrow. Google Adams Wealth Advisors for a free consultation today. Local roots, lifelong guidance.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice. As I visit with people on a regular basis, I see many things we can help with. Recent falls, balance training, knee, shoulder, and hip surgeries, memory loss, housekeeping, help with medications, and that's not all. We at Primrose offer the best care in any situation. A great example of this is our preventative care program. While working with your doctor and using our personal approach, we can help prevent many of these situations. For more explanation, visit primrosecare.com or call me at 787-1369. Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Make it 5 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. They thank you for your support and vote of confidence in their company. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the 5-time gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI, online at advancedheating-ac.com.
The Aggies, the Jazz, the high schools, the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
For the players and also for the rankings, interesting, Bronco Mendenhall, I was asking him a question about that, and I was roundabout way trying to get to my point, but he cut in and agreed with me that those preseason rankings are really kind of pointless for at least rankings. But we did talk about players. But that was, he says they're completely invalid. Don't pay attention to preseason rankings. When have they ever been right? Basically was his point. But it was a lot of fun talking to him. At 20 minutes. And some of the things that he talked about, let's focus on some of his comments first, just in our conversation with him, and an extended opportunity to visit with Coach, which was great. But as Craig alluded to, here's a guy who has been making it pretty clear that players will rise to the expectations that you set for them. And that's been pretty consistent for him. And this is something that was kind of echoed as well with the players in their interviews with us, but also that I observed in some of their interviews with others. This has been a mantra with the team this year. Everything needs to be earned, not given. And we look at how Coach Mendenhall is trying to run things. That is to everything to the minute detail. Everything is earned. The color of shirt you get to wear in practice, your jersey number, let alone, playing opportunities or minutes or starting position or anything like that. So that is definitely the mantra. And so that when players achieve these certain benchmarks, and they get to receive these other opportunities that come with being a college football player. So that's been very consistent that we observed in the spring. Well, in interviews at least. We didn't get to observe any practices, but that's what we got to see. And it's been the message that we continue to hear over and over and over from Coach Bronco Mendenhall and his players. And that is the mantra that was continued again here in Las Vegas. But he seems very excited about what he's observed with this team. And we were talking about some of the players like Bryson Barnes. Whenever you talk to him, he's got a lot of energy. He's excited. This is a guy who loves playing football and is really into it, really happy about being at Utah State. And he is going to be the starter. There's no question about that. Coach Mendenhall confirmed that. He is the starter. Now, what is the backup situation? That's something that's going to continue to be developed through fall camp. But one of the things that I had asked Coach is, what kind of role did Bryson play in being one of the veteran guys and trying to, step into a leadership role, be somebody who can work with the other veterans there and get this momentum going for Utah State. And he said, really, there's not much momentum because there's so many different players. It's almost a completely new roster. Very few players who had an impact last year are back. And the Utah State release says there's 68 new players. Bronco gave us an even higher number. He said it was north of 80 new guys here between transfers, junior college guys, players coming back from missions, and then all the new freshmen that'll be coming in fall camp. So many new players for Utah State football. And so really they're taking this approach as we're establishing something new. We're not building off of anything from last year because there's new coaching staff, new players, so much is new. And so it's an opportunity to create something fresh from scratch and set the tone how you want it to be set. And Coach Mendenhall was very pleased with how Bryson Barnes has been doing that, taking that important leadership role for Utah State and for the Utah State football team. So I thought that was really interesting how he commented on that. And then, I did ask him about, even though preseason polls may be invalid, he doesn't really care about those. Preseason all conference teams, he thought that was interesting because it's a reflection of a person's body of work. And that's really the only thing you can judge by coming into a season before a season begins. And we brought up that Ike Larson, his player, made the preseason All-Mountain West team as a cornerback. And so there's this is an exciting opportunity for Ike to be recognized on this All-Mountain West team. And, for the last few days, we've been wondering, would an Aggie make a list? If they did a first team and a second team, there might be an Aggie or two that makes a second team just because there's so much mystery about the team. So many other people are unsure of what Utah State football is going to look like. But Ike Larson made that All-Mountain West team. They only had the one. They didn't do a first or second. It's just the one team. And it was interesting to hear him talk about that because he said that coming into Utah State, he didn't know who Ike Larson was. And he didn't really mean that in a negative way necessarily, but he said, as an opposing coach preparing for him last year, he was just another guy in the secondary, nothing, really that significant. And from being out of the game the year before that, he didn't know about Ike Larson. But now that he's here and he's seen more of his film and studied his film and talked to him, he's like, you had a good body of work. Like, you had some seasons before where you were doing good things, Ike. And we want to get you back there. We want to see more of what your potential is. And so he recognized that Ike Larson being on that preseason list was probably more recognition of his total body of work, not necessarily in what he did last year, because Ike Larson did have a down year last year. He did not perform at the same level as he had in years previous. But Coach Mendenhall recognizes this is a guy who can be a really big impact player for his team in the secondary. And so he did have high praise for Ike Larson. And he said that, he took that well, and they've had good conversations about it. I think one thing that we're definitely learning, and maybe if you've heard this about Bronco Mendenhall in the past, this has been definitely confirmed, that he's a straight shooter. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't dance around or avoid hard topics. He gets right to the point. If he feels like you're a player that can fit his system or not, he'll tell you, and he'll let you know. And it was interesting when talking about the roster turnover. He said that when they arrived on campus, they have very clear expectations. They lined that all out. And based on his experience and different stops along the way, they recognize there's going to be a certain amount of players that are going to transfer. And they're not going to feel comfortable or want to do what this coaching staff is going to ask them to do to be able to compete at the level that he wants. But he made that pretty clear that there were some players that he visited with that it was going to be clear that they probably weren't going to be able to make it in his system. But he wasn't going to cut anybody, but he was going to let them know what their opportunities could or could not be, and provided opportunities for them to seek somewhere else to go play to still preserve the eligibility and opportunity for them. So something else that was kind of interesting hearing from Coach about his first arrival in Logan. And then one of the other points that a few more from Coach Mendenhall, our conversation with him, is that, and Craig alluded to this about the bowl eligibility. 16 of his 18 years of coaching, he has taken the team to a bowl game or been bowl eligible. The only two times that he wasn't, didn't happen, his first year at Virginia and his 1 year at New Mexico. And his 1 year at New Mexico said they were 8 points away. They started playing right in the third quarter. They just ran out of time with their opportunity, their last game at Hawaii, against Hawaii to finish their season and get to bowl eligibility. So he's very confident that his team will be able to get there. I asked him about this old mantra, skill trumps experience. And with his team, there's been a lot of turnover. There's not a lot of guys that have a lot of experience at Utah State. Not to say they don't have experience as football players, but he did talk about that, and he felt like this team, this Utah State football team, has skill. And he's not going to tell everybody about it. He's not going to tell us about his scheme offensively or defensively right now. He still wants to hold those cards close to his vest, but he is excited to talk about the skill level of his team. He feels like his too deep, his depth chart is very clear in his and his coach's minds. They've got a very clear idea of what their football team is going to look like with their depth. There's still some things that we'll be able to observe with the freshmen coming in the fall and seeing how they kind of progress through fall camp. But based on what they were able to put his team through in the spring, they've got a really good idea of who's going to be in what positions. And so interesting to watch for as we get closer. Might not be until that Family Fun Day, Family Fun Fest, or whatever it is they call it, that happens later in August and near the end of fall camp, where we all get to see that in person together. But that is the little bit of the drawback, and he recognizes that. But he not being as open, but he is totally confident. That's the word I'm looking for. Totally confident that when fans come to games, they may not know who all the players are immediately at the first snap in the first game, but they'll come to realize who they are and what their skill is quickly. He feels very confident in the fact that fans will be very excited about what Utah State football is going to be about this upcoming season. You may not know their names, you may not know their jersey numbers right now, but once the season gets going, you'll be able to figure that out quickly. And so he's very confident in the team that he has and the depth that they're developing. And some of it was, he was a little surprised when he got on into Logan, how many guys on the roster had lingering issues from the season previous, and some guys that got kind of dinged up in the spring. So there were some things that some guys that he wanted to see and see how they could do in the spring, but he wasn't able to because he wanted to make sure he had a healthy team in the fall. So they're mostly, that depth chart mostly is clear in their minds, but there are going to be some things, some positions that can still be open because of some of those injuries that are trying to, that were getting resolved through the spring. And then, of course, the freshman class that'll be coming in. And then finally, we asked him a little bit about the athletic director situation. Utah State is in search of a new AD. Are they going to find somebody who was already connected with the university in some capacity as the interim AD? Will that person be in the running for the full-time position ultimately? Or is it, somebody that's just there as a temporary figurehead until a new president is found and then all that gets settled? But it was interesting to hear him talk a little bit more about that. He really felt strongly that whoever that is needs to have consistency, needs to be somebody who will be here for a while, needs to have moral values that mirror those of Cache Valley, and is passionate about doing their job and has strong leadership. And so the competency in the position, he had some... he was not bashful about sharing his opinions about what he felt were necessary qualities for the new director of athletics at Utah State. And I think he spoke more specifically about the ultimate, full-time position, not just whoever it is at the interim. But and then if there's consistency at the director of athletics position, if there is consistency with those same characteristics at the university president position, and then you have that already with the football coach, and it appears they have that with the basketball coach. So then, wow, I mean, just think of the trajectory Utah State can be on and the things they can accomplish when those things are in line. So that will be an interesting thing to continue to monitor for Utah State moving forward with the director of athletics. And I would imagine that interim position will be announced pretty soon. My guess as to why Diana Sable put July 21st as her final end date is to still be here until an interim is named, and that date is coming up quickly. So who knows? It could be tomorrow, could be early next week when that is named, or when that person is named. But I suspect that will become official here very soon for that interim position at Utah State. All right, well, let's do this. We're going to take another timeout here on the Full Court Press. More to discuss, more observations, some of the other things that we took note of in our conversations with the coaches throughout the Mountain West Conference football media days here in Las Vegas, and to talk to a variety of different coaches about their positions. Some are new in their spots. Some have only been there maybe 2 years. And one coach has been there a long time. And so we'll talk about all that coming up in about 3 minutes here on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Hi, I'm Emily Peterson, founder of Serenoni Luxury Blankets and Gifts. My husband Nathan and I started Serenoni right here in Logan over 18 years ago to raise money for our daughter's surgery. And thanks to this incredible community, we've grown one blanket, one family at a time. We still design, personalize, and ship every order from our Logan warehouse because this isn't just where we started, it's home. Come shop our new store on 10th West, right next to iFit in Logan. Serenoni, born in Logan, wrapped in gratitude.
Copiers, printers, service, and supplies are just the beginning. Les Olson IT is the premier source for your business's structured cabling, IT, software, telephones, and security systems. We partner with you to find the ideal solution to all of your office technology needs. Tell us your goals and we'll get you there. Find out more at lesolson.com.
Les Olson IT. Are you looking for compassionate and reliable care for yourself or a loved one? Look no further than Aegis Home Health and Hospice. I'm Tom Sherlock, a licensed social worker, part of the dedicated team of professionals committed to meeting the needs of our community. Voted best in Northern Utah 2 years in a row, we pride ourselves on delivering exceptional service that you can depend on. We're here to ensure comfort and dignity every step of the way. When it comes to your health, choose the agency that Northern Utah trusts the most. Choose Aegis. Visit myaegis.com or call today 435-723-9000.
Who do you turn to if you want to change out your wood or pellet stove? Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They were voted the gold medalist for Best of Northern Utah for the 5th year in a row in the fireplace retrofit category. Be ready when the government's next wood and pellet replacement incentives pop up. Advanced Fireplace can help you navigate the paperwork. For more information, call Advanced Fireplace and Stove 752-7272. Online at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
A diamond is forever and is perfect to represent your love. For those special occasions, give her a natural, one-of-a-kind diamond, as unique as she is. Our exclusive brand of Needham Brilliant Diamonds are white in color, high in clarity, and are recognized for their precise cut. These diamonds are natural, untreated, and are the real thing. Show her you care enough to give her a diamond, an investment for generations to come. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. SC Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Learning your child has cancer causes an emotional and financial crisis. Often, the best place for treatment is far from home. But with the help of the National Children's Cancer Society, children battling cancer can get to life-saving treatment, whether it's across town or across the country. To learn how we give families hope and give their children the best shot at survival, visit thenccs.org. That's THENCCS.org. Because no family should go through childhood cancer alone.
Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Live in Las Vegas, the site of the Mountain West Football Media Days, which is wrapping up today, this afternoon, and we're done with all of our interviews. The original schedule had us visiting with Timmy Chang and Matt Entz during the Full Court Press, but the way things worked out, they were able to squeeze us in before that, and so we got that done, and it's all taken care of. So thankfully, we don't have to try to manage doing interviews in the course of doing the Full Court Press. Though, I mean, it is fun to hear from the coaches while we're doing this. But I want to get back to some of the other points that of interest from our interviews today. First of all, though, just a reminder, or I guess I should say an apology. Since I'm here in Las Vegas, I don't have the same setup as I normally do, so I can't respond to texts that may be coming in. If you were trying to text into the show yesterday and we're expecting a response, or you're doing that again today, I apologize. Our setup is a little bit different here, so unfortunately I don't have access to the text line. I will be back in studio tomorrow, so I'll be able to see those and respond to some of your responses there. But reminder, if you want to go back and see any of the interviews that we did yesterday with some of the players, you can go find it on the CV Daily Sports YouTube channel, and at various points throughout that big block of video, you can find the interviews that we did. The way we set it up, and again, this is new for us doing it this way, and we're learning. But this was first go for us being able to doing this live stream and doing video with these media days. But we set it up where we just had one open active stream for the day, and then we would just cut in when we had interviews, and then we would cut back out. And so if you want to go back and see any of the interviews that we did yesterday, Fresno State, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah State, and of course, when we did the Full Court Press on there, but in the middle of that, we had the UNLV interviews, and then Rich Clark, the executive director of the College Football Playoff Committee, College Football Playoff. He's the executive director for that. He was on there as well. So you can go find those interviews on our on YouTube. Just go search for CV Daily Sports, 2 different words, CV Daily Sports on YouTube, and then you can find day 1 of what we did yesterday, and of course today it'll be labeled as day 2. You can go back through and find those interviews that we did yesterday. Today went full day. Started out in the morning with New Mexico's coach Jason Eck, and he's a fun guy. We had a fun interview with him. He's remaking his roster. Guys left. They knew they had to try to do some things differently because they were trying to figure that roster out. He had to redo a lot of things there in Albuquerque, but he's excited about that. Says he's bringing a 4-2-5 defensive scheme. He really likes his depth in the secondary, and running that kind of a scheme, you're going to have a lot of guys in the secondary, but he really likes that, and that's partially why he's doing what he's doing, because of the depth that he does have. It was interesting too. This is a guy that came from Idaho, so he has had success in the FCS, and he's moved up to the FBS at New Mexico. And he had a lot of success, and he was an excited guy and pretty innovative offenses. But one of the things that he said when he was recruiting FCS players to come to Albuquerque to play for New Mexico, he really wanted to study their film in games in which they played against FBS opponents. And he studied that more than anything else. He wanted to see how do they perform at this level, and was really excited about the running backs that he was able to bring on to be a part of their program and help them moving forward this year. And we talked about that game on October 25th between New Mexico and Utah State. It's going to be a big showdown between these two teams that are kind of trying to get some traction. Both of them brand new coaches and remade rosters. But besides that, I mean, the biggest issue is the coaching thing and the players. But for Coach Eck, he's like, yeah, I get the community's going to be kind of hyped up about that, and there's going to be some emotions in the stands. He says for the players, like, there's such a turnover in the roster that not a lot of those guys were here, and so they may not really appreciate what that game means. But I know Bronco, he didn't say it with us, but I know he said it in other places here today, that he is not looking forward to going down there. In fact, he'd rather avoid that game if he could, but it's on the schedule and he has to play it. But that is absolutely going to be a big game in the Mountain West. Surprised that national TV didn't decide to pick that one up because of all of the external stuff that goes with it. But players transferring with Bronco coaching staff, players left behind, feeling left out. And then, of course, you got the conference division as well. These are New Mexico. Why did they get left out? Why didn't they go to the Pac-12? So a lot on the line in that one on October 25th, so that'll be a lot of fun seeing how that one goes down. Then we got a chance to talk to Ken Nui-Matalolo, the head coach at San Jose. Came from the Naval Academy. He was there for a long time. And it was interesting hearing from him talking about all the little things about coaching that he really took for granted when he was at Navy. The little things like when does the watering happen? When do they fertilize the field? When can they have access to the different facilities because of other things that are going on? It just becomes so automatic and routine. And at Navy that, he didn't even think about it. Now he's at San Jose. He has to think about all these extra things. But he was very complimentary of Bronco Mendenhall. His son, Ali'i, is on Bronco's staff. And certainly they're very familiar with Bronco Mendenhall. He said his quote is, "You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that Bronco's going to do a great job at Utah State." And felt confident that Bronco was going to have the Aggies performing at the top of the league in no time. He talked a lot about a lot of returning guys on his defense at San Jose. Very excited about that. He's got an experienced running back, an experienced running back on offense. And this is a team that was picked third in the conference earlier this week. So the Spartans are definitely a team to watch out for. And it was a fun conversation with Ken Nui-Matalolo. He hasn't coached in Logan. He's been to Logan a few times. He was here earlier this year helping his son move to Logan and get settled in, got a chance to walk around the stadium just a little bit and was very complimentary of the venue and the community, and is excited to face Utah State this upcoming season. So those are some of the other observations. We had fun talking with Dan Mullen as well, guy with a lot of energy for UNLV. He's definitely on a recruiting pitch for them, and we'll talk about Spencer Danielson and Boise State, and then Jeff Choate with Nevada as well. Coming up after a quick timeout here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan will be back in 3 minutes here on the Full Court Press.
Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress. Express Tire, tires for less. In and out with zero stress.
Any brand, any size.
The patio is open. The chips are endless. Drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
Honey, the garage door won't close again.
It's the sun hitting the sensors. I just fixed this.
Toilet paper rolls are not a fix. Is there something we can do?
Actually, yeah. Advanced Garage Door has these new sunshades that block direct light from the garage door sensors. Let me give Mason a call.
Is your garage door not closing? We can fix that. Call Advanced Garage Door at 435-255-6725. That's 435-255-6725. Or visit us at advancedgaragedoors.com.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants to help Cache Valley feel the love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air is giving away 5 fully installed heating and air conditioning units free of charge. Go to mountainvalleyhvac.com and help make a difference one home at a time. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
The Sportsman on Main Street is loaded with great clothing, shoes, and equipment. This is Mark inviting you to come in and check out our awesome store. For 71 years, we have outfitted you, whether you are going on the trail or to the theater. Trust me, you won't see yourself coming and going as we work hard to have some of the most unique clothing and shoes you will see anywhere. If it's a bike, skis, or unique clothing and shoes, I promise we will take care of you only at the Sportsman on Main Street in historic downtown Logan with tons of free parking in the back.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Medicare can seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Let us help. We'll answer all your questions and get you specific information that fits your needs. Medicare is not one size fits all. We'll help you find the right coverage for you. Call 752-9493. You can ignore the TV and the junk mail. We'll get you the exact information you need. We will help you access the benefits that are important to you. Call LSS Insurance at 752-9493.
The Aggies are number one here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Streaming on 1069thefan.com and the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Again, thanks for tuning in, being part of our live broadcast from Mountain West Football Media Days as we're wrapping things up here in Las Vegas at Circa. And Circa's been a great host. Appreciate our time here. It's been fun just observing coaches and players and SITs walking all around. We're right by the food area, so we get to see everybody coming in here to grab their snack or what they want to do for lunch and all that. But it's been fun interacting with the coaches and the players these last 2 days here in Las Vegas. And some of the other coaches that we got to interact with quickly before we wrap things up. Spencer Danielson, had a great conversation with him about Boise State. Maddox Madsen, it's his team. This is a guy that's he had a great year last year, got overshadowed with everything that Ashton Genty was doing, but now it's the opportunity for him. And just hearing him talk and what he finds important, what drives him, he and Bronco Mendenhall are kindred spirits, and he basically said as much, that he has definitely monitored Bronco's career, has had many conversations with Bronco, and loves how he goes about his business. So that I found that was very interesting. And then Jeff Choate with his previous experiences in Logan and all the different stops. And interesting, he said that in all his time as coaching, he's always avoided Bronco. When Bronco became the head coach at BYU, he left and went somewhere else. When he was, been in the league, they didn't play against New Mexico last year. And all these different stops that he's had along his coaching career, he's never coached against Bronco, and this will be the year that happened. So I thought that was kind of funny, and to hear him talk about that. And he really high on Herschel Turner, the former Aggie running back, who's now going to be their running back. And shifted his defensive coaching staff around, trying to maximize their strengths and really where they can be best to help his coaching staff and his team. So really excited about his improved defense for this upcoming season. But that's pretty much going to do it for us here on the Full Court Press. Thanks so much for tuning in and being with us as we've been down here at Mountain West Football Media Days. Go back and watch the live stream on our video on the YouTube, CV Daily Sports, and you can go and just jump ahead to different points when we've had these different interviews throughout the day. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back at it again tomorrow here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. NBA Summer League is fun, but it's basketball in July. Highlights and hype, hot takes. So let's take a breath before we crown the next superstar. Every year, somebody goes for 30 points, and we convince ourselves we found the next hidden gem. Back in 2007, Marcus Banks dropped 42. Von Wayford, same summer, same scoring outburst. Neither sniffed an All-Star game. Just 2 years ago, Marcus Sasser poured in 40. Today he's a role player in Detroit. Summer League is a proving ground, but not the proving ground. It's a place where second-rounders get touches. Rookies shake off rust and coaching staff test lineups. That probably won't see the regular season. So enjoy it all. And just remember, success in July doesn't guarantee anything come October. If it did, Marcus Banks would be in Springfield by now. So watch with curiosity, but leave your crystal ball at home. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what? You're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. At Mako, they make it easy. Come in for a free estimate, and their expert technicians will handle the rest. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. With Mako's national reach and community focus, you're not just getting top-notch service. You're actually getting a partner you can trust. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
Napa has what you need to be prepared for hotter weather. Get a Napa Legend or Napa AAA battery. $25 rebates are available right now on Bosch lithium-ion batteries. They'll even test your battery to make sure it needs replaced. Field treatments by Standardine House Seafoam, $8.49 a can. Mention this ad, get Napa 15W40 Premium Diesel Oil, $11.99 a gallon cash and carry. Need a local mechanic you can trust? Visit a locally owned Napa Auto Care Center. Find one at NapaOnline.com or talk to them at any one of the Preston to Providence locally owned Napa Auto Parts.
They can put your logo on it because that's what they do at the Logo Shop. They can put your logo on anything from pens and mugs to golf balls and clocks. The Logo Shop is also the place for your team shirts and uniforms. So if your team wants to look good, call the Logo Shop and order your team uniforms today. Colors, logo, and everything else looking just like you want it to. Get your team shirts and uniforms from the Logo Shop. Call them to get a bid or just drop by 40 South Main in Logan.
The Logo Shop. The Logo Stop. The Logo Shop.
The home for Skyview Sports. Sports Talk Radio, KLGN Logan, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.